Okay, so now let me just, did I shut down all of those? Hopefully, let me go this way and just shut all this down. Okay. Cancel that. All right. Now this should be my live. Go here. 2 scooters in there. Jen's in there. Where's all of our other people? It says 6 waiting. It should be seeing me. I'll be seeing you. Can you hear me? Let me see. Yes, you can. It should be live. Okay, now they're watching. Before they were waiting, now they're watching. Say hello, everybody. Twisted. You can still like me, Twisted, even though I like dolls and you don't. We can embrace that difference. Meganels. Come on now. Okay, you're only listening? All right, you're only listening. What does that mean, you're only listening? What else are you going to be doing? Dancing? Tap dancing? Okay. All right, now hang on. We're going to go back and find out about this guy because when we went on for the auction is when, like just when they announced everything. So we're going to learn about it together. We're going to learn about it together. If I can just... Together forever, never to part. Okay, hold on a minute because my computer's being a little jerk right now. Okay, oh, there it is. Leave. Okay. I was wondering why I couldn't leave that. I want to leave. I want to leave Twitter. Thank you. So let me get this. Supposedly, now, after telling us, it's not the same person that killed that Brookline professor. It's not at all connected, guys. Look away. It's not at all connected. They not only told us it was connected, but they told us that this person was in Salem, New Hampshire, and they were in a storage unit. Okay, so we're going to start from the beginning. Okay? Because I missed all of it. You probably missed all of it. Maybe some of it because you were at the auction with us. If you don't know what I'm talking about, and you need to go see the auction, check the videos. Now let's see what's up with this. Okay, so this is the guy. Allegedly, this is the guy. This says 1144 on 1117. So let's see what they're telling us about this guy. They said that he swapped license plates, making it harder to find him, according to the Attorney General. He said he changed license plates on the rental car he was using, which made it more challenging for investigators to locate him. He knew what he was doing. He was changing plates. That's why work of following and finding this car made it more difficult. I'm sorry. Excuse me for a minute. I'm sorry, okay? I'm so sorry. But this sounds like the most ineffectual detective work that I have ever seen, right? It sounds like so Mickey Mouse, and I've said that. Like when the police chief said, you see this guy? He's going around. That's called casing. Yeah? This guy, he changed the license plates. That's why it was hard. Okay? This does not sound normal. Think of any investigation you have heard, any kind of stuff like this. There's something really wrong, okay? Investigators then located the car in Salem, New Hampshire, after a license plate reader flagged one of the plates that matched the car. But wait a minute. I thought he changed the plates. So maybe he only changed one? Okay. guns found at the scene of the Brown University shooting suspect's death will be tested for ballistics and DNA evidence, even though officials are sure. This is ridiculous, okay? Even though officials are sure the search for a perpetrator is over, because they've been so sure this whole time, right? We have a lot of confidence in them. Lots of confidence. Again, Naron has said, we are 100% confident that this is our target and that this case is closed from a perspective of pursuing people involved. Sorry, this sounds just a little too convenient and they're a little too sure of everything, okay? Peter Naronha says that the Brown University shooter shown in photographs behind them was identified as Claudio Nieves Valente. He was found dead, but questions surrounding the incident and motive still remain. The reason why Brown University in particular was targeted is a mystery, said the Attorney General. I don't think we have any idea why now or why Brown, why these students, why this classroom. That is really unknown to us, and it may become clear. I hope that it does, but it hasn't as of right now. The suspect was a student of Brown University in the early 2000s. Claudio Valente was a former student who was enrolled in the Master of Science PhD program studying physics. And that's according to the university president, Christina Hull Paxson. He was enrolled from September 2000 to April 2001, when he took a leave of absence before formally withdrawing in July. So he didn't even complete his second semester. Okay. Valente was only enrolled in physics classes during his time at the university, and the majority of the classes would have been held in the Barris Holly Engineering and Physics building where the shooting occurred. That's kind of weird to go back like 25 years later, right, and expect things to be the same. He did not have an active affiliation with the university. Okay. Now, here's another picture of this Claudio. Okay. He's at a car rental in Boston, Massachusetts. There. The vehicle connected to the suspect was found abandoned. Well, what kind of car is it? What kind of vehicle is it? Authorities learned the vehicle was rented through verified financial records by the FBI. The car was discovered near the storage facility. What kind of car was it? The Brown University shooter acted alone. Of course, conveniently, he acted alone, right? Before they're telling us there's two people running around. And there's another one because they're not at all connected to Brookline. Not at all. Let's see. FBI executed search warrants at New Hampshire storage facility where they found the suspect. Let's see. Suspect found dead with a satchel. Boy, I haven't heard that word in quite some time. With a satchel. Wow, that's crazy. With a satchel, 2 firearms. Why don't they say a valise? I'm surprised they haven't used that term. We found the suspect with his valise, a satchel, some galoshes. What the heck is going on in that? Come on, this is almost comical. If you weren't talking about what you're talking about, this sounds like the most effed up crap I've ever heard. This sounds like one of those airplane movies, except about the cops. This is crazy. Suspect found dead with a satchel, 2 firearms, and evidence matching crime scene, says the Attorney General. A suspect in the Brown University mass shooting was found dead with a satchel. It was a satchel. 2 firearms. What kind of firearms? And evidence. What kind of evidence? Matching the scene of the crime. The deceased suspect was identified as Claudio Valente, 48-year-old Brown University student and Portuguese national. Providence Police Chief Oscar L. Perez Jr. said during the press conference on Thursday. He took his own life. Let's see what else we have. Someone named Kathy Renzi, who lives near Salem, New Hampshire, said she never expected the search for the Brown University suspect to come to her area. I hope it ends and they find the suspect, she said. These poor families, what are they going to do? It's Christmas time. They'll never forget this. Police cars and unmarked vehicles were seen lining the streets, blocking access to some areas as residents looked on. Some people on the scene were wearing FBI Evidence Response Team jackets, while others were wearing police uniforms and plainclothes outfits. Okay, and we're going backwards. The car in Salem, New Hampshire is what led authorities to investigate the link between Brown shooting and the killing of MIT professor. Okay, let's get this straight. Because a car was found in Salem, that's what led the investigators to believe those 2 shootings were connected. Okay. When authorities involved in the manhunt for the Brown University shooting suspect saw a call out from police investigating the killing of an MIT professor, they realized a vehicle of interest in that case was just like one they were looking for. It was the same kind of car used, but do we know what kind of car it was? Isn't that funny? It was the same. How come they didn't put out an APB for that car? It was the same kind of car used by suspects in both cases, but the license plates were different. A witness had provided a license plate to authorities probing the Brown University shooting, who then investigated the car and its past drivers, which allowed them to identify the same vehicle of interest in the MIT professor killing. Investigators were able to locate that car in Salem, New Hampshire, and law enforcement was currently swarming the area after a license plate reader flagged one of the plates that matched the car. The suspect has employed a series of countermeasures to avoid being tracked, guys, beyond just swiping license plates in different cities, as he has seemingly planned ahead to avoid surveillance. Do you think so? Wow. And facial recognition by making himself unidentifiable. Oh boy. Yeah, he looks like he's making himself unidentifiable, guys. Come on. The tactics drew parallels to a 5-day manhunt for Luigi Mangione, who wore a medical mask and a beanie while he was on the run in the fatal shooting of a healthcare CEO in Midtown Manhattan. Boy, it sounds like they're really running defense, aren't they? We're not the only ones that didn't catch a guy right away. What about Luigi Mangione? You guys, come on, we're not inept. Sorry. Police in Massachusetts were asking residents to report any suspicious activity involving a person on foot. I thought you were looking for a guy in a car. Amid an ongoing manhunt for this suspect in the Brown University shooting. If you observe any individuals on foot who appear out of place or behaving in a manner that seems unusual or suspicious, please report it immediately. Oh my gosh. Law enforcement examining an abandoned car in Salem, New Hampshire with plates believed to be tied to the suspect. Okay. And investigators believe they now know the identity of the Brown University mass shooting suspect. If they release the person's identity, the suspect could become a flight risk or a danger to others. Because they're not a danger to others now, right? They only shot 2 people at Brown University and a professor. But if they release his name, he could then become a danger to others. Police have interviewed a man believed to have been in the proximity of the person of interest. Okay, now we're going to go back. Let's see. So, let's see what happened then. They have a car. I haven't heard what it looked like. Satchel he has. What was in the satchel? Okay. It's still a mystery, so I guess they didn't find anything in that satchel that's of any importance there. Brown University suspect Claudio Valente is accused of killing an MIT professor in Massachusetts days after the shooting in Rhode Island. On December 15th, he murdered MIT professor Nuno Lorio at Lorio's home in Brookline, Massachusetts. Valente previously attended the same academic program as the MIT professor in Portugal between 1995 and 2000. Okay, now. Brown shooter fired over 44 rounds, starting shooting as soon as he entered the classroom. As soon as he entered, said the police chief, he started shooting. Okay, and the Attorney General said it was important to run down all the leads that came up in this case. I don't believe that we would have found this person any sooner given the evidence that was available to us. Yeah, we didn't mess up at all, okay? Couldn't have done anything better. We did everything the right way. All right, now we have, let's get this, okay? Investigators say 2 early clues, a campus custodian's observations, and an anonymous, listen to this now, an anonymous Reddit post. Could this get any more crazy? Could this be any more of a Saturday Night Live skit? How did you catch that? Well, we had a campus custodian and then an anonymous Reddit post. Helped narrow their search for Brown University shooting suspect Claudio Valente. A university custodian told detectives he had noticed a suspicious person with a surgical mask, whose clothing matched images police had released. Several times in the weeks prior to the shooting, the man walked with a limp. Detectives later reviewed university surveillance footage from December 1st, and they found a figure consistent with the general description of the suspect. 2 weeks later, on Tuesday, police received an anonymous alert pointing investigators to a post on the Providence Reddit board in which a user said they saw the suspected shooter walking in the area. And they said, "I'm being dead serious. The police need to look into the guy, Nissan, with Florida plates, possibly a rental. That was the car he was driving." He added that it was parked alongside a small outbuilding near the Rhode Island Historical Society, a block from the earlier sighting. The Reddit user, identified by officials as the man believed to have been in proximity to the person of interest, approached Providence police, the affidavit said. When investigators re-examined the camera footage, they found a car partially obscured by the property's trees, aligning with both the Reddit tip and earlier video of the suspect's movement. The car was rented to Valente. Okay, let me just see something, because that doesn't make sense. How could it be 2 weeks later when the shooting has only been 6 days? That doesn't even make sense. Investigators knew who the suspect was yesterday, and that he had rented a car in Boston, according to Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Naranjo. From there, they weighed how to find the shooter without tipping him off. They said officials looked to see if the suspect was going to return the rental car in Boston or in Connecticut. Eventually, he did not return the car anywhere. We wanted to try to take him in without him knowing we were coming. Oh boy, you mean like surprise. And as of this afternoon, Naranjo said authorities were going back and forth on best measures to keep their search under wraps. He said ultimately the police developed evidence as to where he was. We decided to pursue that location, and there we found the car with those multiple plates. Let's see. A rental car trail, a storage unit, extensive security footage, and a financial probe reveals how investigators connected the alleged Brown University shooter Claudio Valente to the murder of MIT professor Nuno Lareal. At a Thursday news conference, Leah Foley detailed how these pieces of evidence enabled police to link the two murders, which occurred 2 days apart and about 50 miles apart. Investigators believe Valente rented a car in Boston. Okay, how did he get... Hold on. In Boston, he drove to Providence, where the vehicle was seen near Brown University. How come we never saw video of it? How come? The car was observed intermittently between December 1st and December 12th. Really? Where's our evidence of that? On December 13th, Valente entered an auditorium on Brown University's campus during a study session and began shooting at students, killing Ella Cook and Mohammed Aziz Umarzokov, and injuring 9 others. Within 24 hours, Valente returned to Massachusetts, where he switched his car plates to an unregistered Maine plate, and then he murdered Lareal. Is it Lareal on December 15th. There was security footage that captured him within a half mile of the professor's residence in Brookline, and there's video footage of him entering an apartment building. Where is that? Has anybody seen it? I'd like to see it. Where's the video footage of him doing that? Around an hour later, Valente was seen entering a storage unit in Salem, wearing the same clothes that he had been wearing right after the murder. The evidence, detailed in an unsealed federal complaint, was shared to reassure the public that law enforcement is confident that they have identified the person responsible for both killings. Okay, they showed Salem, New Hampshire. Where's the thing of him going into Brookline? Okay. They don't have a motive. They don't know why he did this. He's 48 years old. Okay, Claudio Valente entered the United States through the Diversity Lottery Immigrant Visa Program in 2017 and was granted a green card. Let's see. The Brown University suspect attended the school for 3 semesters and had no active affiliation with the university at the time. Well, he really didn't. It didn't seem like he completed 2 of those 3 semesters. He was not a current student. He was not an employee. He did not receive a degree from the university. Valente was admitted to Brown's graduate school to study programs in physics, noting he was enrolled from fall 2000 to spring 2001. He then took a leave of absence and formally withdrew, effective July 31st, 2003. Doesn't even sound like he didn't even complete 2 semesters. During his time at Brown, he was enrolled only in physics classes. Nothing can bring full closure. This is crazy. Let's see what else he's got. Claudio is believed to have used an untraceable phone and avoided credit cards in his own name. And the U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts, Leah Foley. Investigators suspect that Valente may have used European SIM cards through a U.S. provider, making it difficult to track his location in real time. Authorities said they're investigating a fake license plate. Who would have thought Valente used? Police believe it was unregistered, likely an old Maine plate, but its origin is still unknown. Let's see now. In an affidavit, investigators said a campus custodian's observations in an anonymous Reddit post helped narrow down the search for the suspect, but they don't know why the suspect targeted the university. Why don't you go back to Reddit? Maybe you can get the answers. Come on, guys. Reddit's helping them. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Okay, let me go and see what the heck you guys are saying. Hi, MSL. How are you? All right, let's see what's going on here. Hi, Lori Terry. How are you? Hi, Lori Terry. I know you haven't been here in a while. How you doing? Hi, MSL. Hi, Jen. Hi, Twisted. I don't understand, Twisted. We have redirected everybody over here. I don't understand what's going on. They had the car covered in a gray tarp as they towed it away. So, yeah, there's too much. I'm sorry. And you guys know me, right? I am no conspiracy theorist. But this is weird, okay? It's weird. Has anybody seen this footage where they said he's going into the Brookline professor's residence? Has anyone seen that? And you know what? What are they doing? They're going to manufacture it with AI? Where the freak is he entering the professors? Where is that? Pray tell. Because I haven't seen it, just heard it mentioned. Why didn't we get an APB on that car? Right? They kept saying he was on foot. Oh, and it was the bad boy license plates that he changed. A bad boy changed the license plates. Nobody would have thought of that. Because nobody's ever done that that's been in a crime. Right? Jodi Arias turned him upside down. Photos Doulos used different license plates. They still tracked him. Come on. But don't worry, guys, because, hey, it took them a little time to find Luigi Mangione, too. Come on now. Stop it. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Okay. Let's see what else. Let's see if there's any footage of him entering. Where is the freaking footage? Where is the freaking footage of Claudio Valente entering Brookline professor's residence? Okay, let's see. Security footage captured Claudio Valente entering the apartment building where the MIT professor resided. This footage was obtained by law enforcement during their investigation, was a crucial part of evidence. Where is it? Where is it? It has not been publicly released for general viewing. Thank you very much. Why wouldn't it be released? Why wouldn't they show us? Tell me. He's dead now, right? There's nothing that is going to impede the investigation. He's dead. Why aren't they showing us? Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. That's a lot of tea. Remember that? That's a lot of tea. But that was different. What was different? Okay. Let's see. It's not the, Darla says it's not the authorities' obligation to share any video. The case is over, according to them, Darla. They got their guy, so why don't they want to reassure the general public that, look, we got our guy. Here he is. Here he had the same car. Here he was going into the professor's abode. Here we go. No. Why aren't they telling us now, Darla? He's been found dead hours and hours and hours ago. Why are they not reassuring the public? It's crazy. And why am I speaking like that? Because I speak in different ways. That's what I do, Darla. Have you watched me for very long? I use a variety of voices. Always have. It's the performer in me. I'm sorry. Something I've always done. It's the real me. It's not the new Jan Brady. It's the me I've always been. I've always spoken in different voices for different stories, for different cases. Always. Did you hear me read Mackenzie Shrilla's text? Did you hear me read text in the Watts case? Did you hear me read text in any case? I always speak with different voices. The cops don't have the answers until they have the answers. It's not automatic. No, they already said. Darla, they said, we have video surveillance of Claudio Valente, entering the professor's residence. Show it to us. Show it to us. Show us the connection of the two cars. Show it to us. Bet. You bet, MSL. Yeah, Marsha. You know what my son Ethan said? Because we were going to have that Subway, and he said something like, this is going to, what is it? This is going to smack, or something. We're going to smack this down, something like that. He goes, Mom, you should just say that to your people. But he said it a little more graphically than that. He goes, they'd lose it, but they'd probably really like it if you did that. Okay. They aren't showing it publicly. You have not even had time today to review the details. I'm reviewing it now, Darla. Why does it bother you so much? I don't know why you always criticize me. Why do you always criticize me, Darla? And I just reviewed it. I don't take a lot of time that I have to keep reviewing things. I pretty much absorb it on the first time. And when somebody's feeding me BS, I pick up on it pretty fast. I've got a pretty good BS detector. Really? Oh, okay. I'll remember that this isn't entertainment. It's people's lives. Okay. You're right. You're right, because I'm not the person here that stands up for victims and doesn't allow victims to be bashed or anything. But I'll remember that. I'll also remember that a lot of us deal and know people and deal with it in our own lives where really tragic things have happened. And you know what? We balance it with a sense of humor. Okay? So I think I'm good. I think I'm real good. I think I treat people really good. I think I always look out for victims and their families. I think I've always helped victims and their families. And I've never allowed anyone to be bashing them. They do have to show it to us. They don't need a moment to get it together. Sorry, they don't. They need to reassure the public. And they're not doing it. And taking time is only creating... Sorry, I'm blowing out candles. Taking time is only making people think the worst. Making people think they're fabricating something, and they're liars, and they're scoundrels, and they're terrible. That's what that's doing. That is what that's doing, and it's not good. It's all not good. Making people think they're fabricating stuff. They've been not doing a good job this entire time. Is there anybody here? Anybody here? Does anybody agree with me? You don't have to. Does anybody think this is a little bit sus? This whole thing is a little bit sus. Cloud Valente. That's interesting, isn't it? A Google search for Claudio? That's funny. He really didn't even exist until a few hours ago. Claudio Valente. Let's see. He's got an IMDb profile of Claudio Valente. He's known for The Great Ambition, 2024. And even that is completely sparse. LinkedIn, Claudio Valente, Deputy People and Cultural Manager. That's interesting. Claudio Valente, and there's an IKEA building behind him. He's in Sweden. Successful experience in advanced human resources management. Okay, definitely not this Claudio. Definitely not. It's funny, this Claudio was in this country how long? Since 2017? And he's basically non-existent. Basically non-existent on social media. Isn't that funny? Not even social media. I mean, any kind of anything. Almost as if he was invented. Yeah, Claudio Valente, again, the group talent manager at IKEA. Yeah. Again, Claudio Valente has a World Cube Association records, and definitely not this Claudio Valente. It's a young man. Young man. Interesting. Claudio Valente, an Italian singer and songwriter who has worked with several bands from the 1980s and now had a MySpace. Not this one. Spotify. Claudio Valente. Hungry Like the Wolf. Former football player from Italy, Claudio Valente. Facebook profile for Claudio. Definitely not this guy. No. So the Italian singer, Claudio. Okay. Let's see what else. Instagram for Claudio. Let's see. Claudio Valente 119. Definitely not that guy. Interesting. Isn't it that he's been here since 2017 and there's nothing about him except what's been happening in the last couple hours? It's a little strange. Let's see. I don't see anything about Claudio Valente. How about we do Claudio Valente, Portugal? Again, the only thing that comes up is stuff related to this in the last few hours. Interesting. Very interesting. See what's going on. Okay. Interesting. Not seeing a lot of still it's amazing, right? He just here for 25, 28 years, almost 30 years. And there's really not much about him, right? 48 years. Here, who do you have? Friends? Who's coming forward as his friends? Do they have to manufacture them? Where did he live? Where did he work? Okay. Somebody said they think he was from Miami, Florida. You know, somebody on Reddit, those super sleuths, the ones that help solve this case. And there is a Claudio Valente in Miami, Florida, age 48. Let's see. It's weird they haven't mentioned that that he owned a home in Miami-Dade, a 3-bedroom home. Interesting. Interesting. Did anyone say he lived in Miami? How'd he get from Miami? Where's the flights that he was on? Maybe we need to ask the Reddit sleuths. Someone else said, I cannot find this person anywhere online. Okay, let's see about this. Upon review of surveillance video taken from the Alamo Rent-A-Car on December 1st of 2025, Claudio Valente is wearing a bright blue shirt, appears to be consistent with a blue undergarment visible on December 13th. The logo in the lower right is consistent in both. Additionally, furthermore, Claudio... see, what is this? It's a sedan. Interesting. Okay. Okay, let's see. I don't know. This is weird. Very strange. In the affidavit and arrest warrant, let's see. Yeah, they read it as announced in the affidavit there for the arrest warrant. A gray Nissan with Florida plates. That's what the Reddit poster said. This is what the Reddit poster said. It said, I'm being dead serious. The police need to look into a gray Nissan with Florida plates, possibly a rental. That was the car he was driving. It was parked in front of the little shack behind the Rhode Island Historical Society on the Cook Street side. I know because he used his key fob to open the car, approached it, and then something prompted him to back away. And when he backed away, he relocked the car. I found that odd. So when he circled the block, I approached the car. That is when I saw the Florida plates. He was parked in the section between the gate of RIHS and the corner of Cook and George Street. And then they said the information disseminated to the public at that time of the Reddit post did not include the full video from the Rhode Island Historical Society located at Benevolent Street in Providence. Any released videos up until that point did not include a gray Nissan or a vehicle with a Florida plate. Based on the tip, investigators reviewed the surveillance videos further and located a gray-blue Nissan sedan. It appeared consistent with the make and model of a Nissan Sentra sedan. Okay, let's see here. The key witness said that he lost his phone on public transportation. He walked to Verizon to have his phone disconnected because nobody ever turned his phone. The shooting began just after he left Verizon. There was also the situation on Sunday when investigators had a person of interest in custody. That might have played a role in the timeline of a tip as well. Someone said, I'm just wondering why he shot 11 students randomly without any connection. The MIT professor is targeted, but what this loser did at Brown is absolutely bizarre. Is it even connected? Is it even connected? Who knows? Cameras that capture license plates but not mass murders. Okay, someone said it blows my mind that this state and city spent all this money for cameras to capture people going 5 miles over the speed limit, yet there isn't a single decent camera to capture a mass murder or to track the path he took to leave the city. It shows this state's priorities. Use taxpayer money to squeeze more money out of citizens, not better the safety or the lives of those living out there. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Two rental dates. According to records from Instituto Superior Technical IST, the preeminent Portuguese engineering school, a person named Claudio Neves Valente was terminated from a monitor position in February of 2000, the same year that Lorerio graduated from IST. David, including breaking tip case. Okay, let's see. All right, here's the affidavit. Let's see what this says. On December 13th, 2025, at approximately 16:06, Providence police responded to the area of 184 Hope Street, the Barris Holly building on the Brown University campus for calls of an active shooter. Upon arrival, police found multiple gunshot victims. A large law enforcement deployment began to secure the building and search the area for suspects. Fire rescues responded and began to treat and transport wounded victims. Located the area of room 166, the Tanner Auditorium. The auditorium has staircases running up both sides with entrances at the top and bottom. There were 10 victims in total. 2 victims identified as Mohammed Aziz Umar Zolkoff and Ella Cook were pronounced deceased at the scene. Mohammed was found deceased near the upper entry door of the auditorium, and Cook was found deceased on the floor between the aisle J and H. The 8 other victims were transported to a Rhode Island hospital. They were identified by full names and dates of birth. Providence detectives interviewed a redacted person. Somebody was intubated or otherwise unavailable to speak. Numerous other Brown students and staff had given statements. Tanner Auditorium was used for an exam review session for a Principles of Economics course at the time of the shooting, scheduled for 1,400 to 1,600 hours that day. The details for the final reviews were emailed to students by the course professor with the 5 review sessions scheduled. Students reported being in the auditorium when they suddenly heard gunfire coming from the rear top of the auditorium. Some students reported running to the teacher's desk at the front of the auditorium where they hid to conceal themselves until police arrived on scene. A description of the suspect was formed from the interviews of a medium-build male subject wearing face covering or mask that covered his lower face. Students reported hearing multiple gunshots, and police would discover numerous 9mm shell casings in the hallway and steps leading down to the bottom of the auditorium. Multiple witnesses described the shooter entering from the back top of the auditorium and walking down as he fired across and towards the front of the room. Providence BCI detectives and FBI investigators processed the crime scene. Investigators recovered ballistics evidence, 44 spent 9mm shell casings, 1 unfired cartridge casing, and numerous projectiles and projectile fragments. The ammunition was both hollow point and frangible. The head stamps of these shell casings indicated manufacturers Sig, Norma, True Love, McLean. 15 spent shell casings were located in the hallway. 29 spent shell casings were found in Tanner Auditorium. 166 within the auditorium. Police also found 2 high-capacity magazines with capacities of around 30. Evidence was later submitted to the State of Connecticut Division of Scientific Services in Meridian, Connecticut. DNA profiles were developed from the submission of various pieces ballistic evidence from the crime scene. Specifically, a prominent major full DNA STR profile from the fired cartridge casings were obtained and were entered into the CODIS and returned as having no matches. The profile is of sufficient quality for comparison. Additionally, there is a different full DNA STR profile that is observed in all of the samples collected from the 2 submitted magazines and all cartridges received with those magazines within them. The profile was also entered into CODIS and returned as having no matches. Law enforcement teams conducted surveillance video canvass of all surrounding areas. From the collective surveillance, a suspect, hereby suspect, was identified that appears across video sources. A systematic review of those video sources revealed the suspect was circling the immediate area earlier in the day at approximately 10:35 hours in the Manning and Cook Streets. There were several instances where the suspect is captured on video surveillance from Cook Street, including 1037, 1056, 1400, and 1452. The affidavit contains a more complete video timeline with still images for reference. They are all incorporated by reference. The suspect appears as a heavy-set male, wearing a face mask covering his lower face, a two-tone dark jacket, a winter hat, black pants, and black sneakers. He didn't like sneakers. At times he appears with a black satchel across his body, and at other times that black satchel is not visible. He walked with a distinct walking gait, and his right hand appeared to be in his pocket, his jacket pocket, in several video clips. He is then observed circling the same area at 1400 hours on Cook Street, Manning Street, and later George Street, walking in the direction of Governor Street at 1416. The suspect is seen on George Street, encountering another individual, initially unknown, but later identified as John, hereafter John. The suspect runs away from John. John then runs after the suspect in the same direction. Immediately after that interaction, the suspect and John are seen in close proximity. At approximately 15:15, the suspect is observed on Governor Street, George Street, and Cook Street, and Benevolent Street. It should be noted that this is a residential neighborhood and it's within 1 to 3 blocks of the Barris Holly building. The suspect is observed on video surveillance walking from Manning Street to Hope Street, then on to Brown University's exterior camera, crossing Hope Street into the parking lot abutting Hope Street where the Barris Holly building is located. This was observed to be 1456 before the shooting. It should be noted that the Barris Holly building is equipped with only 2 exterior cameras, but has multiple entrances and exits. Areas of ingress and egress and interior cameras do not cover room 166 and the hallways immediately surrounding it. However, one of the video sources was obtained from a camera recording on a Brown University shuttle bus driving nearby immediately after the shooting through a parking lot abutting Hope Street and captured the suspect walking away from the area of the Barris Holly building. This was observed to be 16:03, immediately after the shooting. The suspect is then captured on video surveillance on the corner of Hope Street and Waterman, continuing down Waterman and eventually onto Pittman. A height analysis was performed by FBI. They used 2 still images from a Ring camera video on Manning Street. The still images showed the suspect in full erect stature. They compared this suspect with the height of the fixed landmarks, like a fence gate, calculating to account for the distance. The height analysis showed the suspect's height range between 5'7" and 5'9". Based on Urafian's training, the suspect, okay, hold on, let me get her. He includes a distinctive walk with foot movements. Several video clips and still images of the suspect were released to the media with a request for assistance in identifying the individual to coordinate the information coming in. A tip line command center was established. Okay, so let's go on this. Someone said she got a really good look at the suspect, which When provided with a photo of the suspect, they quickly froze, physically pushed back, and became emotional. She was observed to be tearing up and shaking. She then confirmed that the image showed the shooter. Detectives then spoke with someone who indicated that he was in close proximity to the shooter when he was shot. Detectives presented that person with the same still image and a second close-up image from the same camera source, and upon observing those two photos, that person took a deep breath, shut his eyes, changed his breathing pattern, and confirmed that the shooter he saw in the hallway appeared to be the person in the photos presented. Detectives met with another one and presented him with images of the suspect, and they also identified the suspect in the images was the shooter. Investigators began to receive and investigate a large number of tips being communicated. Providence Detective Matthew McGlowan was an ATF Special Agent Anthony Ventuolo interviewed someone, a custodian who works at Brown University campus, and noticed a suspicious person with a surgical mask dressed in the same clothing as the released images. On one occasion, after this individual noticed, he entered the door on the Hope Street side and went immediately into a ground-level bathroom across from room 166 and recalled specific dates of November 28th and December 1st and said the encounters occurred between his shift at 3 p.m. and sunset. Said the individual walked with a limp. Based on this, McGlowan and Ventuolo reviewed Brown surveillance footage from December 1st, where they saw an individual matching the general description of the suspect. On December 16th, the Tip Command Center received information from an anonymous source referencing a Reddit post. Dun, 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 dun. We got the Reddit post from the Providence subreddit made by the username redacted, and then the anonymous tipster stated that the Reddit poster said that they saw the suspected shooter walking in the area. Investigators obtained a copy of the Reddit post, and I already read it. Okay, and that the information disseminated to the public at the time of the Reddit post did not include the full video from the Rhode Island Historical Society located on Benevolent Street. Any released videos up until that point did not include a gray Nissan or a vehicle with a Florida plate. Based on the tip line, investigators reviewed the surveillance video further and located a gray-blue Nissan sedan. It appears consistent with the make and model of the Nissan Sentra sedan. Thank goodness for the Reddit people to catch this guy. The video extracted from the area of Benevolent Street and George Street, and the encounter between the suspect and John. Large the fenced property of Beechwood in that area, which they observed the view of the Nissan being parked there from camera angles. On December 17th, Providence police released still images of the then unknown person, later identified as John, interacting with the suspect at approximately 14:16 on December 13th in the area of Benevolent Street. On the evening of December 17th, a male subject approached Providence police officers at 194 Meagling Street, where the Brown University Alumni Hall building is located. The male subject identified himself as John and as the Reddit poster. Hi, I'm John. They call me John, the Reddit poster. They call him John. Okay, thanks, John, because you solved this. Thank you, John. John's full identity is known to the Providence police, but you can call him John. And to your affiant, John informed that he wished to speak with the Providence police about his interactions with the individual that Providence police had publicly identified as a person of interest. Person of interest is being referred to throughout this affidavit as the suspect and is featured in numerous and numerous below surveillance video photographs. John did not refer to this individual as the suspect, but it's clear from his recorded interview that he's referring to the individual featured on surveillance video. John voluntarily accompanied police officers to the station where he agreed to do a recorded interview. At the onset of this recorded interview, detectives reminded John that he was free to leave at any time and that he was there voluntarily. John expressed that he would provide all the information he had on the individual. John recounted that he first encountered the suspect, the same person of interest, released to the public through multiple images and videos, inside a bathroom on the ground floor of the Barrows Holly building, immediately to the right of the entrance of the building on December 13th, approximately 1345 to 1400. John described the suspect's clothing as inappropriate and inadequate for the weather. Specifically, he described the jacket and gloves as flimsy, had a brand style logo in the bottom right corner. John believed the logo was a name, brand, possibly LL Bean. He described the pants and shoes as kitchen restaurant worker style, of poor quality, or would be associated with Walmart. John cast no judgment as to the quality. What? He did cast judgment. He said it was of poor quality. And they put John cast no judgment as to the... John described large face mask covering the entire lower part of the suspect's face. He believed that the suspect was wearing glasses. John described the suspect's skin as weathered and a cinnamon color complexion. He believed that the suspect's eyes were brown and his face appeared to be chubby. Chubby. From the interview, there were several instances where John made eye contact with the suspect or stood in close proximity to him. The initial encounter involved John locking eyes with the suspect. After the initial encounter, John observed the suspect exit the building into the parking lot. John, what did he do? Because they circled something. Something in the entrance until he observed the suspect go up Manning Street and then he followed him. John then described the encounter with the suspect near the RJ Historical Society. He watched the suspect approach a gray or silver sedan bearing a Florida registration plate. John assumed the suspect had a key fob because the lights of the Nissan lit up as the suspect approached, as if the vehicle was being unlocked by a key fob. The suspect suddenly turned around from the vehicle and walked in the opposite direction, taking a left at the nearby intersection. John stated that the suspect looked at him like he knew him. John approached the sedan and observed two fanny pack style bags on the rear floorboard of the passenger side. John remained on that block and observed the suspect looping back to the area and then switching directions every time they saw each other. John described this pattern as a game of cat and mouse between him and the suspect. Okay, let's see what else we have. At some point, they encountered each other on George Street, at which time the suspect ran to the opposite direction, and John then ran up behind the person of interest, slowed to a speed walk, and then walked past the suspect. John then turned to face the suspect. John estimates that they were standing approximately 2 feet away from each other, and John asked the suspect, "Your car is back there. Why are you circling the block?" The suspect responded, "I don't know you from nobody. Why are you harassing me?" Okay. During the exchange, John detected a cadence or accent to the suspect's voice that he believed to be Hispanic. John saw the suspect approach his car one more time, but then John continued on to Waterman Street and did not have any subsequent encounters with the suspect. John informed detectives that he recognized one of the images released to the press as the person he encountered that day, which prompted him to post on Reddit. Detectives showed John 2 flock images previously obtained on the suspect's vehicle. While viewing the images, he said, "Shite, that might be it." When prompted with a still of the video surveillance obtained from the Alamo rental car of the male, let me see what that says. The support vehicle. As he was renting the suspect vehicle, there was a close-up of the clothing, and John could not say for certain that is what had the same logo that he saw on the person of interest, but it was in the same location. John did indicate that the stomach makes him think it's him. He did not recognize the bright blue shirt featured in that Alamo video. On the morning of December 17th, a Brown University faculty member reached out to Rhode Island State Police regarding a suspicious vehicle in the same general neighborhood as on Thursday, December 11th at approximately 9:15 a.m. The faculty member stated that he was driving onto Waterman Street that morning, and she came up behind a gray sedan with Florida registration plate that was moving unusually slow down Waterman in the direction of Thayer Street. She recalled that the gray sedan with Florida registration plate was moving so slowly that it almost came to a complete stop. A search of the flock cameras in the area populated approximately 14 different times that a Nissan Sentra bearing Florida registration plate with the number, the 5 of which were on December 3rd at the, Street and Dole Avenue intersections on the east side of Providence. There has been flock hits for a front plate for that registration. Okay. A flock camera hit at North Main Street in Providence on December 13th shows the gray Nissan Sentra with partial Florida registration at the start of what appears to be a queue. The vehicle was rented at Alamo Rental Car in downtown Boston on December 1st. According to Alamo Rental Car, the vehicle in question is a Nissan Sentra bearing Florida plates with only a new plate affixed to the vehicle, with only a rear plate, affixed to the vehicle. The renter of this vehicle is Claudio Manuel Neves Valente. Birth date January 22nd, 1977, who provided a Florida driver's license, taking its height at 5'9". On December 17th, Special Agent responded to Alamo Rental Car at 270 Atlantic Avenue to request video surveillance. Alamo videos were later obtained. The several dates involving Claudio Manuel Neves Valente. Brown University provided information as Claudio Manuel Neve Valente is a student with no current active affiliation. Is a former student with no, He is not currently employed by the university. He was enrolled in the fall of 2000 and the spring of 2021. He was a PhD program for physics, at which time he had an address at blah, blah, blah. Let's see, after the spring of 2001, he went on a leave of absence. He officially withdrew in July. He withdrew from Brown, now they say in the fall. Before they said in July. He officially withdrew from Brown in the fall of 2001. Urafiant learned of Valente's immigration at Logan International Airport, Boston, Massachusetts. Valente arrived that day on board a British Air Flight 215 and departed the United States on 12/22/2000. Valente traveled back into the United States on January 25th, 2001 under the name Claudio Valente. On May 10, 2017, Valente was issued a diversity immigration visa. On September 14, 2017, Valente was lawfully admitted as a legal permanent resident at JFK International Airport, New York, New York, on Valente's DVIV visa from 2017. It lists something university and the name of his institution, and then he had, it's Brown University, and then he puts that building as the address of that institution. Okay. Let's see what else. Upon review of surveillance video taken from Alamo Rental Car, December 1st, Urafiant noticed that Claudio Valente is wearing a bright blue shirt that appears consistent with the blue undergarment visible under the suspect's outer jacket, as captured in numerous surveillance videos on December 13th. Specifically, the logo in the lower right is consistent in both instances. Additionally, on December 1st, at Alamo, Valente is seen with his hands clasped behind his back in the same or similar manner to the suspect on camera on Benevolent on December 13th at the Historical Society. Further, the last image featured is in the below compilation. Law enforcement obtained video of Claudio at Alamo on November 17th. In that critical video, Valente is seen wearing the exact same outfit as the suspect on December 13th. Claudio is wearing a two-tone lighter jacket with the exact same color combination and design as the suspect. He is wearing the same or similar black shoes with dark soles, black pants, undergarment poking out from below his outer jacket and glasses. Below is a video timeline of some of the extracted clips as compiled by the FBI analysts in this investigation, and it lists the car in multiple spots on Cook Street, Manning Street, And then walking to that white building, bus footage, suspect in driveway. Then, and they show that these pictures are here, where the rental of the Nissan Sentra. They show that other picture where he's walking in to the rental place. Let's see. On December 16th, okay, we got that one already. They show suspect. Okay, yeah, that's it. But where is he entering the professor's place? Huh? Where's that? I'm curious on that one. Curiouser and curiouser. Sorry, I am. And I don't know where you guys are. I don't know where you guys are. Maybe over here. Here you are. Okay. Hi, little lady. He did previously live in Miami. Yep. According to this, yeah, he did. According to the affidavit, yeah. Why do I need to know where he lived or worked? Because I'm covering this case and I'm interested in it. Obviously, man had some type of break and eventually more details. Perhaps they would like to speak with families first before dumping to the public. Okay, what time is it? 3:38. Well, I've got to go. I didn't even get to call Gia back tonight because oh my gosh. I have to call her first thing in the morning. Daily puzzle. Daily puzzle. Okay, small town girl. By the way, Miami is totally not Florida. South Florida is totally different country. I'm very familiar with Miami, small town girl. Very familiar with Miami. Doodly-doo. Oh, let's see. stomach is growling. If you hear my stomach growling, it's because I'm probably hungry. Because I've been going and going and going and going and not eating very much. Because I had a members meeting and then I kind of went into a auction and then right into this. So if you hear my stomach growling, I'm sorry. I can't control it. Oh boy, let's see, what do we got here? Oh. Oh my goodness. Murder of Crows, we need you. Sorry, we're gonna have to do that one. So I'm too tired. Good night, MSL. Sleep tight, MSL. See you later, MSL. Unfold. Yeah. What? You are awesome, Carolyn. Who said that? MSL? Thank you, MSL. I appreciate it, MSL. You're awesome too, MSL. I love the Woodstock, you know that. What is it? Undo, 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 undo. Yes, I'm so tired. Okay, the Energizer Bunny's going to bed, MSL. Love you guys. God bless. Prayers for everybody. Be good. Be well. Be good. Good night. Love you guys. Prayers for Judy. Prayers for Bink. Everybody.